Welcome back to Mind and Magic. Over the past several months, I have been releasing the N.A.P ritual recordings. For those who don't know what N.A.P is, it stands for New Avatar Power, from the book The Miracle of New Avatar Power by Jeff Gray Cobb. It's a system of magic that consists of elements of hypnosis, as it includes an induction down into relaxation and trance, talking you down in, combined with vibrating God names, calling upon specific spirits, and incantations. Many have reported that they've gotten good results from it, which I am happy to hear. N.A.P has always been a system that's kind of hit and miss for me. Sometimes it wouldn't work at all, but when it did work, it worked really well. And the author of the book himself has suggested that you make recordings so that you may relax and follow along with it, but not have to actively read or hold anything, or anything else that would bring you out of that relaxation since it's so heavily dependent upon it. So I made a few recordings for myself and figured, well, if I'm going to do these, then I might as well do them all and put them up on the Patreon so that others can benefit from them if they have need of them, as sort of a companion piece to the book. It's not meant to replace the book by any means. There's far more included in the book than what is covered in these few rituals that we've done. There's an entire section on creating and operating a pendulum, for example, that's not going to be included in any recording. So I do highly recommend that people who don't own the book to get it while it's back in print. It had been out of print for quite a long time. They brought it back, but there's anybody's guessing how long that will last. Now, we've done all of the main rituals in the front of the book. We've done recordings for money, protection, health, secret knowledge, legal cases, rekindling the interest of a mate, love, success, winning contests, having power over others, general purpose, obtaining a magic mentor, and even astral travel. These recordings are meant to be listened to at a place and time where you can relax, possibly and preferably before you're going to sleep, where you can just lay down with a pair of headphones on and follow along. I've suggested a pair of sleep phones that are headphones that you can wear to bed comfortably. They do make a big difference in getting comfortable. But all you do is you listen and you follow along and you recite the God names as they come up along with the recording. And you listen to them once per day for at least a week and even up to a month. Because there's such a strong component of hypnosis in the N.A.P ritual, and it's said that at least 21 days are required for self-hypnosis recordings to work. So if you're not getting results after a week, you just may not be doing it long enough. Okay, that's the thing about the N.A.P system. It may be easier, but it could take longer. Now, thus far, all of the recordings have only been available on Patreon in the $10 tier, aside from the first money ritual that was also released on YouTube. But recently, Patreon has rolled out some new features where creators can sell individual posts or even entire collections without requiring a subscription. So as we're getting ready to move into the next phase of the N.A.P rituals, which we'll be going over here shortly, that is what we're going to do with the ones that we've done so far. I've put them into their own collection, and I'm going to make them available to anybody who wants them, but for whatever reason, they don't want to sign up for a recurring subscription. As much as I'd like them to, some people just don't want to do that, and they would rather just pay for the recordings outright. Now, they'll be a little more pricey than the subscription, but that's because members have taken a few months to get them all. And I'll leave a link to the collection page here in the video and in the description for those interested in all of those rituals that I have mentioned. For the rest of us, we're going to be moving into Phase 2 of the N.A.P ritual recordings, which are similar to Phase 1 with the hypnotic induction, but also adds the middle pillar ritual, which the book calls the central pillar ritual, the bornless invocation, and also reciting God names while visualizing specific colors associated with planetary energies corresponding to what you want to manifest or banish. So for this next phase, there will be additional instructions to go along with the recordings. Now, those who are more experienced with the occult or who have gone through initiation curriculums will probably be familiar with the middle pillar and bornless one invocation. For those who aren't, the Bornless One invocation is just going to be recited. There's no additional instructions for that part. But for the middle pillar that precedes it, you are required to do some visualization while reciting the appropriate god names, of which the first is Ehe. And as this is recited 3 times, we want to be visualizing a brilliant white light just above our head, just to the point where it's almost touching the top of our head. A ball of sparkling, brilliant white light. The book says that some people pretend an electric light bulb is inside of a balloon. I just visualize a brilliant white ball of light. Next, we visualize the white light coming down in a line down to our throat, where we get a second ball of white light growing in our throat, which the book refers to as the air gate. There we do the next god name 3 times, which I don't really want to recite them all here. I almost destroyed my computer recording all these god names. Things started really acting up to where I almost couldn't finish recording them. And it's still not 100%. I'm probably going to have to do troubleshooting and maintenance this weekend on the computer, but everything was working fine until I started recording all these god names from this particular section of the book, especially the planetary ones. In the interest of saving time, I recorded them all in one session, which may not have been the best of ideas, using that much power around my sensitive equipment. But while envisioning a ball of light at your throat and vibrating the second god name 3 times, we then continue on down with the light shaft to another ball of light at our chest at about equal line with our heart, which the book calls the fire gate. And we repeat the third word of power 3 times. Then we have another beam of light descending from that third ball of light all the way down to our pelvic region at the genital area, which the book refers to as the water gate. And we repeat the corresponding god name there 3 times. Then we have another beam of light coming from that ball of light on down to our feet, where we repeat the 5th and final god name another 3 times. You then proceed with the circulation of light ritual, which the book refers to as the new avatar power fountain ritual. It's the same exact thing, where you imagine the light is sort of like a fluid that is being drawn up through the ball of light at your feet, up through the top of your body to the ball that's above your head, which then explodes out like a fountain raining all down upon you, and then being redrawn into the feet, and then up all the way through the head, and then down like a fountain around you, and then again through your feet, all the way up the beams of light to the top of your head, and then out through the top like a fountain again. After several repetitions, you begin to start feeling it, and then the Bornless One invocation is recited. And all of this will take probably less time in the recording than it does for me to explain it and give extra instruction to, even though there's a bunch of silence in between the parts of the recording, as there is supposed to be. But after all that, we have the normal opening, and then we have the middle pillar ritual with the circulation of light, visualization, and then the Bornless One invocation. And after all of that, then we're finally going to get to the meat of the ritual, which is to visualize that light that's radiating in and all around you, changing from a brilliant white light to a specific color, which will depend upon the planet that we're using and whether or not we want to attract or banish something. So, for example, if we wanted to attract something with the power of the sun, we would envision the light turning a golden color. And if we were banishing with the sun, then the light would be orange instead of gold. And we do this while reciting the god name associated with that planet. And then as we're achieving that and maintaining our visualization of the colored light around us, we then turn our attention to what it is we want to banish or attract. And that's really it. So the next 7 rituals will be in this style, one for each planet. We'll have a Saturn manifesting and banishing ritual, then a Jupiter manifesting and banishing ritual, all the way down their Sephiroth's order on the Tree of Life. And we only need 1 ritual per planet because whether you are attracting or banishing, it still uses the same god names. It's up to you to visualize the appropriate color, which will be posted at the beginning of those videos during the instructions. I'm still going to keep the videos a dark screen for those who like to listen to these without lights on, and keep all of the instructions at the beginning of the video. But these are the extra instructions here. Now, the book includes tables on the planets, their associations and correspondences, which you look to know what is appropriate for that planet to attract or banish, and the associated god name. Now, the list of correspondences, in my opinion, is a bit thin, so I will be including more so that these rituals can be used for more than just what the book recommends. But that's essentially how it works. We will have a video on the planet, and then you will see what that planet is good for, to attract or banish, and then the book recommends that you write this down, planet, what you're wanting to banish or attract, and the god name associated with it, write it down, and then do the N.A.P ritual, which is listening to the recording and vibrate the god names along with them when they arise. Now, for those who are familiar and have experience with the middle pillar ritual and planetary god names, this will be a cakewalk. For those who aren't, it may take a little bit getting used to it, so you may want to go a little bit longer than the recommended minimum week just to get used to it. And as a side note, you'll want to know that it's usually when people begin the middle pillar ritual in their own practice that people contact me about strange things happening. I mean, I just told you about reciting the god names next to my computer, and then the computer starts acting up. The strange things that people report can happen both in their environment and in their own bodies. They'll have weird feelings or sensations. So just know that when you're doing that the abnormal is normal. Aside from being a portion of the N.A.P ritual system, the middle pillar is also a part of the initiation process and curriculum that is meant to help balance and ground you. It is not just for the accumulation of power. It is also meant to help balance you out. And weird things can happen when doing this, especially when first starting out. Now, if you expect it to happen, it probably won't happen. But if it does, just know that it's normal and don't freak out. All this powerful, brilliant white light that you are visualizing running through your body can begin arcing, for a lack of a better term, and weird things can happen. And when it does, people usually have one of two reactions. They either weird out and quit altogether, or they do what they're supposed to do and take it as a sign that what they're doing is having an effect. So take it as confirmation that what you're doing is working. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know. And the more you can keep it away from your electronics, the better. Obviously, if you're listening to a recording, you have to use some electronics. I haven't had any problems playing them back or listening to them. It's when I use them all at once in the same recording session that even I wasn't immune to the weird effects and the power of that. So, beginning with the next recording, which will also be on Patreon in the same tier, we will be beginning a new collection of planetary manifesting and banishing rituals. So, now that you know how they're going to work, stay tuned for those, and I will see you next time. Take care.